Hi, hello everybody, welcome to First Chapter Friday. My name's Dawn and I work here on the children's desk at the library. So today I'm going to be reading from And Then Boom by Lisa Fipps, who also wrote the wonderful Starfish book, which was a really, really good book. So if you've not read that, you should try that too. So this is about a young boy who hasn't had the best luck in life really. His mum's not always present, just never known his dad, and lives with grandma, and they really do not have much money. And it's about how he kind of copes with that and deals with the issues that come along with not having much money. So this is called And Then Boom. Just like Superman. My name's Josie Folk, and since an oak tree grows from an acorn nut, Grandma calls me a little nut. And if Mum's around to hear it, she adds, I'm allergic to nuts. It isn't nice of Mum to say that, but she's not known for saying or doing nice things. But I never thought she'd do what she did. I never thought a lot of things, like I'd be on the news and the whole wide world would end up finding about the moment I flew, just like Superman. I'm not a superhero, straight up not. I mean, yeah, sure, I flew like Superman once, but I don't have any special powers unless you count my ability to be invisible and to survive. I do have one thing in common with superheroes. I have an origin story. So does my grandmum, who's from England. Mum, who gets the itch, my best friends Hakeem and Nick, Uncle Frankie, who's not really my uncle, and my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Swan. Each of us has an origin story, the story of how we became who we are. This is my story, and when you read it, I want you to remember something. When Superman summons every ounce of his strength to survive something others can't even imagine, he's the same person he was when he crumpled to his knees, left helpless by kryptonite. He's the same person he was when he was Clark Kent, just living day by day, invisible to the world. Superman's the sum of all his moments, and so am I. In comic books, superheroes use their powers to help others, defeat villains, and save themselves. Good triumphs over evil, giving you hope, something to believe in. Comic books remind you that even when horrible things happen, it can all work out in the end. Every story boils down to a then and booms. And thens and booms are all about the moments when something happens that changes everything. It could be bad, it could be good, but it's often not. So always pay attention to and thens and booms. I'm only allergic to one thing, poison ivy. I learned the hard way one day when my basketball rolled into the woods. Leaves brushed across my face as I parted them like curtains to find the ball. When I woke up the next day, I looked like, pretend you need to blow up a big balloon and fill your cheeks full of air. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Now squint. That's what I looked like. But worse than that was how I felt. An itch is the worst. You can't stop thinking about it, and the more you try not to, the more you do. Plus, you do have to scratch it, but then an itch itches even more. It's almost impossible to live with an itch. My grandpa was a pilot, and my grandmum says you can always tell when a pilot is preparing for takeoff. They start ticking boxes on a checklist, and the list is always the same. Tick, tick, tick. Mum's like a pilot when she gets the itch. That's what I call it when she gets restless and wants to take off. Itch takeoff, the checklist goes like this. She stares out of the window, sighs loudly a lot, swings like a pendulum from sad to mean and back again. Tick, tick, tick. Mum leaves for days, weeks, months. You never know when she'll take off or when she'll come back, but you know takeoff's coming. Tick, tick, tick. The first time I remember Mum taking off was on a sweaty, sticky summer day. We lived in the gingerbread house then, the colour of graham crackers and a fancy white trim. It was old and didn't have air conditioning. Mum sighed as we sat on the porch swing, hoping for a cool breeze. She pumped her legs and the swing creaked as we rocked. My legs stuck straight out, too little to dangle down. And soon as I spied yellow wings with black tiger stripes and a blue tail, I jumped down to chase the eastern tiger swallowtail. And Mum chased me. All I wanted was to hold the butterfly, but every time I got close to it, it took off. What on earth's wrong with you? Who tries to trap a butterfly? Mum yelled, picking me up, carrying me back to the porch and plopping me down on the swing. I flinched. When the screen door banged, as Mum went out inside the house, she came back out with her purse slung over her shoulder and her keys jingle-jangling. Where are you going? I go too, I yelled, scooting off the swing. She didn't even look at me. She just went straight to her car and got in. Slam, squeal, vroom. Mum took off. I hopped onto my big wheel and pedalled down the sidewalk trying to catch her, but my little legs just couldn't keep up. Mum wears a silk butterfly scarf all the time. She says she's a butterfly and butterflies are free. You should be able to go wherever you want, whenever you want, fly away, be free. But Grandmum would say, you're not a butterfly, Carly, you're a mum. You can't be both. Oh yeah, Mum would answer, then make me choose and watch what happens. When I was little, I had a jack-in-the-box. Music played as I turned the handle and I never knew exactly when it was coming, but I knew the door would open with a loud pop and the clown would be right there. The longer I turned the handle, the more nervous I got, waiting for that pop. That's what it's like after Mum gets the itch and takes off. I never know when she'll pop back into my life. The longer I wait for her, the more nervous I get that she won't return, and yet the more I fear her coming home. Comic books are full of onomatopoeia. I can tell you a story about Mum and me using only onomatopoeias, gosh. Grr, slap, ouch, shh. Onomatopoeias are words that sound just like what's exactly happening. I'm a doodler. I have a notebook full of doodles, oodles of doodles. I doodle the infinity symbol a lot. It looks like the number 8 on its side. When you draw it, the line loops and connects, so you end up not being able to tell where it all even started. But once it starts, it never ends. It goes on forever because it keeps repeating itself. Sometimes I don't even realise what's going on inside me till I start doodling and whatever was in front of me is right there on paper. I just doodle a circle that became a planet in a galaxy where grown-ups act like grown-ups and do what they're supposed to do over and over again. The world where I want to live. Grampy died before I was born, but Grandmum tells me so many stories about him. I feel like I know him. Grampy loved to fly. He was a US Air Force pilot and Grandmum met him when he was stationed in England. He loved restoring old cars. He bought this one called a Pacer for a few $100 and spent tons of time tinkering with it. Grandmum will still drive it. The bottom part of the Pacer is like a regular car. The top part is round with lots of glass, kind of like you sit on an upside down fishbowl on it. I call it the fishbowl. The name fishbowl is sort of a word doodle. It paints an image in your head, just like a doodle gives you an image on paper. Now, even if you've never seen a Pacer, you can imagine what it looks like. Grandmum said when Grampy was alive, they had enough money. But I only know what it's like to not have enough. Grandmum and I managed to do okay mostly, unless the fishbowl broke down, or one of us got sick and needed medicine, or the furnace stopped working, anything unexpected. Then we'd get way behind. We could usually count on catching up though when Grandmum got her tax refund. Then all the bills got paid at once for a change, and sometimes we had enough left over to splurge some, to put extra food in the fridge, to buy new shoes, and if we were lucky, winter coats. I didn't know what poorer than poor was until the mess with Mum. And that's where I will leave it. So, sure you want to find out what the mess with Mum is. I hope you've enjoyed it. It is available here at the library. And yeah, give it a go. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.